My chat's gonna get in the way, but I'll try to keep an eye on the chat. It shouldn't matter which computer you use, whichever one you feel more comfortable with. If you do log into one in here, there is no password, just hit enter, and then you can get to where you're going. So today I am going to go over all of the updates for graduation tracking that were released in our 22. This recent package. There are a lot of new things. So there we go. I didn't see it move there. So the first thing is there are a couple of new reports in the Analytics Hub. Two of them are going to be in the eligibility file. So the first one is earned grad seals by student. So I have an example of what the report looks like. I did have to run this at a district, so you'll see EMIS IDs blurred out, as well as student information, like names. So this would list the student's name, their EMIS ID, and which graduation seals they have earned. It should be available to run for last year, yes. The next one is plans to earn grad seals. So anybody on their exemptions requirement screen for graduation, you would, if they have plans to earn checked, these are the seals that they're planning to earn. And then the last report is located in the EMIS demographic folder, and it's called period S course summary. And this is going to give out all of their credits in the different course area codes, and then give you a total of credits that they've earned. And if there's dual credit and counts in there, then that would also include dual credits. Does anybody need for me to show you how to run a report in the Analytics Hub?
I can probably help you too, depending on what it is.
Okay, so let me get out.
Okay, yeah, see me later and we
If you
can
guys could
talk
put
through it.
yourself on mute, that'd be great. I think I got who was talking on mute. All right, so let me get into, I'm going to get into our student information because sometimes my demo database doesn't work so well on the Analytics Hub. So you have to, if you have access to the Analytics Hub, you should see a piece of paper next to the head up here in the right-hand corner. If you don't have that piece of paper, that means you don't have access to the Analytics Hub. If you need access, get with your district security person, and they should be able to get that for you. And I'm just going to run an eligibility one here real quick. I'm not going to run it all the way because I am in a live database and don't want to give out student information. So under eligibility, this is where the plans to earn grad seals are and the earned ones. So when you click on a report that you want to run, you're going to get a filter screen, and you have three columns here. You have filter by, what condition, like equals to, does not equal, and then your value. So the value for the school year is 22-23. If I want to run it for the grade levels, so there's only information here for 12th graders because that's the only grade level showing up. And I can pick which seal that I want. Obviously, there's only one seal that's been done here. So if there were more checked off as plans to earn, those would be listed here as well. And since it is one of as the condition, you can choose more than one if that is available. Or you can just say, I want to know who has honor diploma seal that plans to earn it. And then you just hit OK. It runs the report and you can download it into an Excel file. So it's pretty simple. If you need a little bit more information on that when you do it the first time, I'll be glad to work with you on that. Yeah, just look for that little piece of paper up here in that right-hand corner. If you don't have it, then get with Sherry. Yeah. Just got a chat, so let me look real quick. Why is only one seal pulling at the option report? Because that's the only seal that has been marked off as plans to earn. If there was more than one, like if I go to another district, there may be more of them. There may be more listed here if there was other ones checked off. So it's only looking for ones that have been checked off. So it kind of does like a little pre-filter. So if you're looking for Ohio means jobs and that's not listed there, then somebody hasn't checked off that they plan to earn that grant seal. By checking off on the student, I'm being asked, how do we get more added? By checking off boxes on student exemptions requirement screen. I'll show you that a little bit more when we get to that screen where that's located. But if nobody has it checked off, on like a student doesn't have that checked off, it's not going to list in here. Let me see if I can get it to run in this demo database. Then I'll show you that. So I know that they have more information in here than at that building that I was in. So if you don't have anything listed, that means nobody's been checked off that they are planning to earn any kind of grad seals or that they have earned any grad seals. This one I'm going to do the earned one instead of planned. This might take a minute because it does run a little slow being in the demo database. Did that answer your question about how do we get more added while that's running? Okay. See, this one only has one too, so I'm not gonna run that. So real quick, if I pull up a student here. And I go to their grad points. And I go to the student exemption requirements. My seal's at. Why is she not? Oh, I have a fifth grader. That do I? What is going on here? Let me get to the high school level. So it is basing off of if nobody in the whole school has anything checked off in this plans to earn, then when you use that filter, you're not going to see anything. If I hit this and hit update exemptions and I go to run that report, it'll show citizenship seal. Should we be able to see the student exemption? You see the student exemptions requirements. What school are you at? Probably not. You would have to talk to Karen about that, but I think they have you guys locked down on that right now, so you might not be able to see that. All right, so now that we went over the different reports, reports, I'm going to go over some of the stuff that's changed. Let me pop back over to get my chat box out of the way. Let me pop back over to my PowerPoint here. And so there are, I think this stuff, the basic information and on the grad points requirement screen, exemptions and requirements, there's different information that you can fill out now that's going to go onto the graduation plan. Basically, if you have the date that it's updated during the grade level 9, you know, if you're meeting with the student, you would just put in a date. And then obviously when they're a 10th grader, 11th grader, and 12th grader. And you have the FAFSA application date here as well. So if you have that information of when they applied for their FAFSA, you can also check on their status by using this quick link here. And then you would put the student's information into that quick link to find out what the status is of their exemptions. And I'll show you how to fill all this stuff out as well. I'm just going basically over everything that is added here. We have our post-high school goals. So when you get into it originally, it's going to be blank. You're going to hit the plus sign. You're going to add your goal. And then support needed to achieve that goal. If you need to delete a goal, you hit the garbage can. And then we have the pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship information in here. Again, it'll be blank until you hit the plus sign. You're going to fill out that name, phone number, email, and employer information on there. And again, if that changes, you can delete it or update it by clicking the garbage can. And then we have our work-based learning area. Again, it'll be blank, so you hit the plus sign. There is a drop down to choose their experience, the date they earned it, and the hours that they have on that. And you can add more than one. Again, if you need to delete, we're going to hit that garbage can. And then for your mentors for the Ohio Means Jobs Readiness Seal, you would just put their names in these boxes, because you have to have 3 of them. Simple, easy to do there. Military enlistment, if you got the documents submitted, whoops, go back one. So I hit my little plus sign. You check off that the document was submitted, the date that it was submitted, and then you're going to click the plus button to put their testing information in here and their score, so the test date and the score. Again, we have that garbage can if you need that. Well, not all the sections are going to be applicable, but I mean, you have to have your grad plans in place. Yeah, because it's going to be, I mean, that stuff is reportable to the state. So yes, it needs to be in the system. And then on the test date for that military, it does have to be a date within the past 5 years. It cannot be a future date. It won't allow you to enter a future date. So they actually had to have tested in the past 5 years and have your score there. So let me get out here real quick and go over to my database here. So I have the graduation plan details here, and this is what I was talking about earlier. It went through each of these screens, so I'm just going to put some information in here. She's in 12th grade, so I'm meeting with her today. And as soon as I click in this career field interest, I have a bunch of options in here that I can choose from. So I'm just going to choose business and management administration. I can choose more than one if I want. And you can kind of see that I can also delete them if I need to. They're supposed to be meeting, counselors should be meeting with students every year because that's what it's, you know, it's asking for. When did you talk to them in the 9th grade? When did you talk to them in the 10th grade? Yes. And then you have the FAFSA application date. So you can put that date in there. And again, here is the quick link over to be able to get to that website so that you can check the status. I don't know much about this website, so I'm not really going to get into that. I'm assuming you guys know how to check that information on how a student's application is doing. But that quick link is just there for you to easily find. And now that I'm finished with this basic information area, I always want to remember that I want to hit this update exemption screen because that's basically your save button. So if you put this information in and go away from this page and you didn't update, it's not going to save. If I have any post-high school goals, I thought I heard a chat come through before. How do we make all these marks for a student's plan if we can't get to that screen and dazzle, if we're locked out of it? You need to talk to Karen Zanies about that. Or the principal or whomever, I'm not sure who made that decision. So post-high school goals, I will just click on the plus sign there. I type out the goal. And then any kind of support needed to achieve that goal, you would write in here. Again, if I want to delete that, I just click that button. Pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship. So I would put the name of the pre-apprenticeship or apprenticeship person in here, their email address, phone number, and then the employer. And again, I want to update my exemptions. Here's our work-based learning. Again, we have a drop down of the work-based learning, date they earned it, and how many hours. And they have up and down arrows in here, but you can just type in the hours there. If they are going through the Ohio Means job, obviously you would put their names here. And then if they submitted any documentation for their military enlistment, and I could put their test date on here and what their score is. And again, I'm just hitting that update student exemptions. Any questions on this grad plan detail area? All right. So let's get into, get back on my little thing here. So as many of you know, on the state system seal, diploma seals, we've been having to do this student by student, and now there is a way to import it. So we're excited about that. We can do mass imports. The requirements for that are you have to have the student's last name, first name, and student ID number. You have to have the column headings, and there's different ones for each one. So let me kind of go over that. So I did put a template out on our website under student services, just so that you have it. It does have all columns like all of these column headers. So these are the only ones that can be updated. And again, I have pretty much like a picture of this out there with the layout information, and I have a template there. So if you need to grab that, I had it created. Didn't know why they didn't have a template to begin with. So I did create one, made sure it worked, and then put it out there. So for these 4 places, the career tech pathway, advanced math, advanced science electives, if you put a yes in the spreadsheet, it's going to check the box off. If you put an N in the spreadsheet, it's going to uncheck the box. And if you have that on there and it's blank, then there's no change to that student's areas. This is going to be the same, the yes, no blank, or I should say YN blank, for your capstone, work, community service, and college credit plus. Again, if it's yes, it checks it. No, it unchecks it, and blank, there is no change to it. And the same for the optional career tech requirements of pre-apprenticeship, the YN blank formula. It does get a little bit different when we are on the seals. So a P in the spreadsheet is going to check off that they plan to earn it. The E is going to check off when they have earned it. And the R will remove both the P and the E. So if you have both of them checked and you were to put an R in there, it's going to remove both plans to earn and earned. And a blank for that column would be no change. The one kind of glitch I came up with when using this import is this college ready seal and these honors diploma seal is kind of like an automatic when they reach that goal. So if I put in there that they plan to earn it, and then I wanted to remove that, it won't remove it because it's saying it's a read-only field. So you would have to make sure that you update that manually. Just so that you're aware of that little glitch that I have there, or that I found while importing. And I do have that on the paperwork, just in case you run into that again, because it will come back like an error when you do the import. So let me show you how the import works. So I already went ahead and put this student in here. And I have this as a sample on, did I put a sample on there? I think I did put a sample line on there on the template. So you have their student ID number, their last name, first name. You could download this from Easy Query and have all your students in there if you wanted. Just make sure you're updating the correct fields. So if I look at the different columns, so this student is taking the career tech pathway, so I have a Y in there. They have their electives, that's a Y, capstone project Y. And you can see I've left these ones blank, so no changes to them. And then I have some other information here, pre-apprentice, program a Y. And then I have these seals, plans to earn. Ooh, got a Y in there, that shouldn't be a Y. We're going to say that they earned their community service and earned their performing arts seal. Make sure I have all P's and E's. All right, so let me go ahead and save that. This is in a CSV file, so you need to make sure that that's what it is when you go to upload it, or it won't work. See where I have that saved at. I think I'll put it on my desktop so I can find it quicker. Oh, I did put it on my desktop. Never mind. All right, so let me get into here. And I'm going over to management, import, export. And here's my graduation exemptions import towards the bottom on the left-hand column. All I have to do is look for my file. And then I hit upload. Success. Now, if I go back over to the student and I go to her student exemptions and requirements, and I come down here, before I did not have these checked off. So now these are checked off. These are checked off, and I have my plans to earn checked off and my ones that I've earned all checked off. So if you have more than one student in there, obviously it's going to upload all those students that you have. Let me show you how the remove works. And I'll show you the error that you get with this college ready seal, since that was one of the ones that doesn't automatically remove it. So if I come back over to my file, so I'm going to change these to no's, my Y's to no's, so that it removes them. And I've got plans to earn here. I'm going to change this one to earns. I'm going to change this one to R for remove. And I'm going to leave the rest blank because everything else should go as planned. Those are the only several changes that I wanted to make. So if I'm not changing one that already has earned or planned in there, I want to remove that. Save it. Let me get back over into my import. Graduation exemptions. I'm going to find my file again. I'm going to hit upload. And it's saying here, warning, import completed with errors. So line 2, the read-only seals require a value of P or blank. So it's not letting me remove that one for the, what did I do that one? I did that on the college readiness seal. So if I go back to her exemptions screen, you can see that it didn't remove that one because you see how that's a read only. I can't check that off. So I would have to actually manually take that off and then hit update exemptions. And then all of my seals, the ones that I've earned and plans to earn, are all correct now. And as you know, checking these boxes off are what puts them into student memberships, which are required by the state to be, the membership is what gives the state this information of which seals they're working on and which ones they have earned. So once this is checked off, it automatically creates a student membership for the student.
Last spring, it was a two-step process.
What do you mean a two-step
So we
process?
had to add it to memberships and also check the box. And it looks
Yeah,
like-
that changed some time ago.
Okay. So we only check the box.
Mhm.
And that automatically does the membership.
Yes. So then that updates the student memberships. So if I don't see that on there, maybe it takes an overnight process for that to happen. I think it does. But then that would create the membership code for the student. Now, if I go out to the student grad point summary, let me stop there. Any questions so far on loading that file? Just gonna wait a sec, just in case somebody's typing something out. Yeah, the student membership code, yes. So now that I've made all of those changes on the student exemption screen, I do want to come back out here and check for updated information on my grad point summary. Unless you're doing a bunch of changes, obviously, and you're just going to wait till the nightly process of that happening, updating by itself. But you're working on a student and you got it all in there. And I want to hit update the grad, check for the updated information so that it feeds from that exemption screen over into the point summary.
When we overnight upload, you don't have to pay.
That's
So that
correct.
check up.
That's correct. And then these additional options should be in here. For my, so like here it says earn readiness seals, 7 out of 12, and I hit view, and it's going to say which ones I have earned. The yellow is obviously plans to earn, they're working on it. College readiness seal, nothing was checked off on that, so that's why the red X is there. They're just not working on it. But the plans to earn are going to be in yellow, and the ones that they've earned are going to be checked off. So that information does feed back over into the grad point summary screen. The graduation plan is located on the grad point summary screen as well. So they have a template, and that kind of came out a little while ago. But all you have to do is, it looks like there's a drop down here. I got confused at first too. I think they plan on adding things to this. But once you click it, it automatically, you can see it's starting to think about something, and it's going to automatically download that plan for me into a PDF. And then I have a copy of the graduation plan. They are still working on this because some of the fields that they've added, like that, all that basic information, the post-high school goals, the pre-apprentice apprenticeship, work-based learning, your mentors for Ohio Means Jobs, and your military enlistment. They don't have it where it's set up onto this yet. That is something they're working on and hope to be released here shortly. But so, you know, all this updated information that I put in here, like the date, what the goals were, it's not showing up on here at this time, just so that you're aware of that. Here's their credit breakdown. Here's their assessment breakdowns. Demonstration of competency. So if they have not demonstrated it, it's red now. If they have demonstrated competency here, yes. Yes. I was looking at like defects. Okay, I think that's the enhancement request. Let me look at the defect list here. Can't remember if I saw that on there or not. The defects that I found was grad plans display only half credit for a course with credit earned of 50% at semester. Template report required credits, credit tracker, earned credit total is not including fine arts. Isn't displaying Ohio Means Jobs seal as orange or green under the table demonstration. Let's look at that. So what they're saying there is, even though I put they were trying to, it's not doing orange or green here on the Ohio Means Job. And then doesn't demonstration of competency does not show competency met for EOC records with SNR or W. Is that the one that you're talking about? Yeah, so that's still on that defect. I can send those defects out to you so that you're aware of it. But that information should start showing up on here of where, I get that kid a really high score, 75. Here's your minimum scores to be able to enter the branch. College Credit Plus information would be there.
I just called in. We got the audio.
The seals are working, so they're planning on earning the science seal, plans to. So orange is plans to, and green is did earned. And then it's going to have the student earned seals here as defined, and the names of the seals, and then the FAFSA information. So there is a graduation plan for each student there. Again, we're hoping to get that other information filed in there quickly. There is not a way to run these in bulk at this point. That's another thing that they're working on, is putting this in the analytics hub so that you can run it in bulk for students. And this went heck a lot quicker than what I planned to, so I would continue to, let me just back up a little bit on the student exemption requirements. Even though this information is not printing on there, I see that coming soon. So just make sure that you are filling this out, so when it does come in, you're not going back and be like, oh, no, it's in there, I can put it in there. At least you can always just like print screen this if you need to have that information at your fingertips until that plan is updated. Does anybody have any questions? Or need to show them anything? Oh, no, I did that good of a job explaining.
So, go first. Further question. You're currently tracking plans outside of, like, the full graduation plan outside of field, test scores, and all that stuff in here as they're earned. I guess my question is, the things like when you met with the student, grade level, things like that, does that have to be in?
That's a good question. I'm gonna call on Karen. Are you on to where maybe you can answer that?
Just wondering if that changes everything that we put in place.
I think some of it is, I don't see Karen on. Karen Ryan is who I'm talking to. I see that she's there, but she might be doing something else. Honestly, I don't know the answer to all that. I know the seals have to be in there.
Yeah.
And certain elements. I think that will come. I also think that having it in one place, so you're not like putting it here and then having to put it over here, kind of streamlines your process a little bit too. Instead of having to track it in two different places, leads to more errors that way.
Well, what we have now is like automatic shared, like we already have it shared with families and students who they have constant access to the.
That's nice. And I know that's one of the, I know that's one of the enhancement requests, is to get that available out on parent access so that the parents can look at it and students be able to look at it as well. So I know that is an enhancement request, because I think a lot of people are doing that. So I don't know when or if that will ever happen. I think it's a great idea, because obviously parents need to look at this information. And, those parents that want to stay on top of every little thing and be like, have you heard that seal and you don't have it checked off yet? Which is,
Laura,
which is
I
good,
didn't hear the
like a set of
question.
eyes on it. Oh,
Laura, this is
Yes.
Kim. I didn't hear the question, but I'm assuming based on your answer, the question was about putting the graduation plan in the vault so the parents can see it. Was that the question?
no, it's not putting it in no, the question was, how much is required to be in student information? Like, we know the seals and we know,
Gotcha.
the apprenticeship stuff, but like that basic information, does that need to be in there? And I didn't know the answer to that, but, and I can find that, I'll find that out for sure and let you guys know. But they're sharing their information on a shared drive where parents can actually see the plans. And there is an enhancement request for that to be in parent access so that parents and students can see the plans.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank
Yep.
you.
No problem. Yeah, even being able to vault them would be nice, but I mean, then you have to constantly update it, but I would.
That's
think
what I,
we want-
that's what I
we would
thought
want
you
more
were
live
talking
information.
about, because I have heard in past meetings that that is where they're moving towards being able to put them into the vault so that the parents can see them in parent access.
I wonder if that would keep updating, like if I update it now, would the parent be able to see the update? It almost have to be live to where you're not putting a bunch of plans into the vault like a report card. Because a report card is like what it was when you ran it, and that's the vault. So that, I don't know what,
Yeah.
it would need to be more live information.
Right now, we have a fancy, Google Sheet for each student.
I'm gonna stop recording just because this is chatter instead of,
Sure.
but that's fine. Let me, do that.